Hi, JP Fournier of the Movie Jerks here, coming to you on day 21 of 31 Days of Horror, the month where I watch 31 horror films I have never seen every day until I reach Halloween. So, let's take a look at what we have here. Now, I gotta say, I haven't been getting the type of movies I've been wanting to get. My list is all random films. However, I did stack it with a lot of Universal monster films. I haven't seen many of the sequels to the great Universal monster films, and also I haven't seen a lot of Hammer movies. So I'm shocked I haven't actually got those. So hopefully by the end of this month I'll see at least something from one of those two categories. But let's see what we got today. Fingers crossed. Yesterday we had Alone in the Dark of Night. Today we get Frances in the Haunted House. Well, I suppose that's could be considered a classic. Well, it has Mickey Rooney, so let's see what this one's about. A haunted house has got him, and it's every ghost for himself. Francis the Talking Mule in a haunted house. Great. Day 21 of 31 Days of Horror.
Our beloved Universal monsters came into this world back in the 30s and 40s.
I bid you welcome.
And with their arrival, horror movies had changed forever, and their popularity would span into a chain of successful sequels. This would lead to a genre change, from horror to comedy, with the release of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And switching from horror to comedy may be the reason why a lot of audiences have forgotten about another diabolical monster created by Universal. That's right, Francis the Talking Mule.
Here we go again.
Francis first hit the screen back in 1950, and since that date had 7 movies in his own series. The first set of films were directed by Arthur Lubin. Not only directed several of Abbott and Costello films, such as Hold That Ghost, but he also directed Phantom of the Opera from 1943. Those opening films started with Francis appearing to only one soldier, and quite frequently to only Peter Sterling, played by Donald O'Connor, a young, timid soldier who was instructed by Francis inside information that often placed Peter into compromising and serious situations. Whenever Peter tried to explain that this information came from a talking mule, Francis would either disappear, keep quiet, or pretend to talk like a mule, furthering the mental torture, political danger, and self-consciousness of Peter, making Peter appear like a madman. This beast, called Francis, has no origin, is never explained how he's capable of speech when other mules are not, and Francis often addresses himself as a general who has been reported dead or missing. Yet, is this a ghost of a general? Or is it a subject of Peter's sanity that is often questioned due to the topic of combat shock and post-traumatic stress disorder? And from the start of each new sequel, everyone has forgotten that Francis can talk, and Peter's torment and suffering begins anew. This psychological monster was so popular that it spanned into a TV series, Mr. Ed, as well spread into popular characters in modern fiction. And it also became a staple Halloween costume for years to come. In this final film of Francis' series, Peter has been replaced by a new victim.
Steady. I'm Francis.
David Prescott, played by Mickey Rooney. Also, this film had a new director, Charles Lamont, the director of Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy. This final story in the Francis saga is about an inheritance and an old spooky mansion that has been rumored to be haunted. When a murder happens near the mansion, David is set out to get the story. Most of this film follows the same pattern of other Francis movies.
If this is some sort of practical joke.
Don't you hang up, Bub.
With the mule secretly telling his victim information that will not only get him in trouble with the authorities, but also get him arrested, framed for murder multiple times, and nearly killed, until David snaps and takes matters into his own hands. This typical Francis plot is also blended nicely with the formula we see often in Scooby-Doo mysteries, with a property rumored to have hauntings from a specific ghost. In this case, it is a knight on a horse. However, in this film, we are shown the murderer right at the start. So what monster is frightening all the visitors?
Mickey Loud Ghost! The real one!
Pick up that thing before you give yourself a hot foot.
Yep, this jackass. When comparing Francis to other past Universal monsters, he doesn't quite hold up.
Trouble? Who's in trouble?
You are.
However, a two-person donkey costume still gives me shivers to this day.
Wait until he tries to tell her that mule also talks.
Hey, fellas, don't you think we ought to leave him alone?
And there you have it, day 21 of 31 Days of Horror. This time I watched Francis in a Haunted House. What monsters from the past do you think might make great pairings with the Universal monsters? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're curious about other films we're watching for this month, be sure to hit our subscribe button for updates daily. And for more information about the Movie Jerks, you can go to www.themoviejerks.ca.